So you're telling me that there's an immortal emperor who's actually trying his best not to let the world go to ruin, but he absolutely gets demolished by a little girl who eats metal and uses water vapor to fight him off? That's kind of stupid. After Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive took my epic fantasy virginity and then left me hanging after the third book, I lost all purpose in life. But then I regained it like five seconds later because I googled Brandon Sanderson books and I found that he has a whole universe, of which there's a small part called the Mistborn trilogy. But by the time I finished the Mistborn trilogy, I realized I had an IQ of a pistachio. Bro, Brandon played me for a fool every single time and I just never saw it coming. But I really enjoyed it. So yeah, let's talk about Mistborn, the Final Empire. Alright, let's talk about the story and the world building. It's great. I like it. Now, I did come into Mistborn after reading the Stormlight Archive, so I was expecting the epicness on that level, but I was pleasantly surprised that this wasn't the case. There was a completely different appeal to Mistborn. Was it the insane magic system, the fully realized characters, or the amazing world building? No. Mistborn thrives on you, the reader, being a dumbass. As I read through this book, every pattern that I thought I recognized, every prediction that I had, it just completely went out the window. I was wrong every single time. And maybe you're sitting there, going, maybe you're just an idiot, bro. You know what? Yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I am. But I guarantee that at least some of the predictions you make will be wrong, because Brandon writes these tropes in a way that you don't see coming. Now, that doesn't mean I don't like it. I think it's amazing how masterfully Brandon subverts your expectations. And it's honestly more satisfying to get something that I didn't expect than some cliche or, really tropey kind of thing. Even if what you predict happens, it's going to happen in a way that you didn't expect it to happen. Maybe you expect some character to die, but they die in a way that's much more meaningful and impactful. That's cool and all, but I want to talk about something that I truly love about the story and the world building in Mistborn. Now, I know you might say, oh, is it Vin's amazing character growth or the amazing heist, the magic system? Yeah, that all comes and I'll talk about it. But we all know Vin has a great character arc. We all know the story is great. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about something that I truly experience, that I truly value in a story. And that is the vibe. I don't know about you, but when I read stories, I don't really like a lot of the main scenes happening during the nighttime. I don't know if I'm weird or I'm just built different, but that's just how I am. The daytime is just my preferred time for stuff to occur. But Mistborn is one of the very few exceptions where I really enjoyed the nighttime way more than the daytime, to the point where I only wanted most of the scenes to happen in the night. The nighttime is when our Mistborn can actually stalk around wearing their tassel cloaks, but the main part of the night that really makes it stick, that makes it memorable, is the mists. The mists are like a character of their own. I love that they subtly move around a little bit. They're so ominous and mysterious. Vin, sometimes she's fearful of them, sometimes she's embracing them, sometimes she doesn't know how to feel about them. It really feels like the mists are a character, and I really appreciated that, and this helped in creating a vibe in Luthadel, which is the main city. I just love imagining those scenes where our Mistborn are just jumping around the rooftops, their tassel cloaks flailing behind them, while there's a soft rain and there's mist. It's just amazing. I love it. So needless to say, the vibe or the atmosphere, that is very important to me in a story, in a book, in a show, anything. Something that kind of creates an aesthetic where I can be like, you know what, no matter how terrible and awful this world actually is, I kind of want to be there at this moment. Alright, that was something. Let's talk about the magic system. Never has anything made me want to shove a metal rod down my throat more than Mistborn. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to magic systems in any media I consume, whether it be books, movies, TV shows, anime, I'm kind of a monkey brain. Whenever I see a magic system, the first thing that comes to my head is, Yo, would I want that? Like, can I imagine myself with these powers? How cool would it be to have these? That's how I gauge my magic systems. I might even sometimes prefer having the more cliche, tropey magic systems over something more complicated and more thought of, because it's just too much of a pain in my ass to actually imagine me having those. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean I don't like those magic systems, right? Magic systems like the one in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood and Hunter x Hunter are some of my favorite magic systems, but more so because I appreciate the work that's gone into them and how the author balances them over me actually wanting those magic systems. For me, wanting the powers is very important. And Mistborn is very rare for me in that I actually want it, even though it's a more harder magic system. It has the super strength, it has the super senses, it has the pulling and pushing on metals. The intricacies of this magic system actually intrigue me a lot. Like, I love how complicated it is, but it's still so simple. It's a really weird combination, but I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorite magic systems ever, and I constantly imagine myself wearing a tassel cloak, running around Luthadel, fighting inquisitors, dying a lot, and it's some fun times. So yeah, Allomancy, 10 out of 10. Amazing. Alright, let's talk about the characters. So our main characters are main guy who eats metal, main girl who eats metal, the other dudes that eat metal but they don't have as many metallic powers as the main dudes, and then we have the main big bad guy that has like way more metallic powers and is kind of broken. So yeah, we have Team Metallica against God. So the side cast, I really like the side cast. I think my favorite would probably be Hammond. We're obviously not talking about Sazed yet, because Sazed is my favorite character in the entire series. But Hammond is probably my favorite of the side cast because I like that he's a buff guy and he likes to talk philosophy. I mean, not all buff guys are muscle brain pieces of crap. The main characters. Kelsier. I love him. Daddy Kelsier. He's one of the best characters. I really like him as a mentor. I like how damaged he is. I like how real he is. I like how raw he is. And it really works with the dynamic he has with Vin, because Vin recognizes this throughout the book and she realizes that, yeah, this guy's kind of sus. But, you know, she takes the good things she can learn from him and leaves out the bad. And of course, his final plan was just amazing. To be honest, the first time I read that scene, I was really angry that Kelsier died. You know, it was like, oh, mentor dies. But again, Brandon did the trope in a way where it was really original, really unique. You know, he did it for a purpose. He didn't die just because he had to die, right? He did it so he could bring some hope and some faith into the ska, which was just amazing. Vin, amazing main character. I mean, again, everyone said what has to be said. Vin is a great main character. I love her growth throughout the first book, the second book, the third book. Yeah, I like Vin. There's not much to say. Let's talk about the Lord Ruler, the main guy I want to talk about in this character segment, because I really, really, really like this guy. He's threatening and he's really intimidating when you haven't even met him. I really like those kinds of villains, especially when they show up and they're not wusses. They're everything they're worth and more. That scene where two of the spears go through him and he's just like, do I really have to deal with this kid? Like, he doesn't know what he's doing. None of these people know what they're doing. And in his own twisted way, he's not wrong. I mean, he's been alive for all this time, and he knows what he's been doing. He's been saving this world, and he's been trying his best to not let it go to ruin. Pun intended. And my favorite part, when he loses to Vin at the end, he's not really crying out or angry because of him losing, you know, like the villain ego, like, how dare you defeat me. It's more like, dude, I worked so hard to keep this world as it is. Make sure I keep it going, and you just ruined everything. You have no idea what you've done. And I love that. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up all my thoughts on Mistborn. It's just me being a fanboy, and if I was to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it a 9. Hoid's in it. Hoid from The Way of Kings, like the Stormlight Archive. It's a 10 out of 10. Masterpiece.